It was to be the company that united them, the dream that would unite security and nearness. My Sisterwife's Closet. The name haunted the Sisterwives world for years, a joke, a bankruptcy, and for suffering customers, a memory of orders placed that were never filled. It was a family business that gradually transitioned into oblivion, leaving behind only unanswered questions and cobwebbed virtual shelves. But what if I were to tell you that ghost may not be gone after all? What if the graveyard of shelved dreams is smoldering back into existence? Because as it happens, behind doors, out of the watchful eye of TLC, secretive but deliberate gestures indicate something massive is brewing. Gossip of a rebrand. Hints at a comeback. And all signs lead to one jaw-dropping possibility: Robyn and Cody may be cooking up the most daring business return in Sisterwives history. Is this really their second chance, or just another distraction? Stick with me, because we've gathered receipts, insider reports, and exclusive theories. By the end of this, you'll be the one deciding if this is a genuine rebirth or their most desperate gamble yet. Before we blow this case file wide open, do me a one-timer a favor: hit that like button so more can be included in this investigation, and don't miss subscribing and hitting the notification bell. The narrative is evolving quickly, and you are going to want to be one of the first to know when the next piece of the puzzle falls. Now let's set the scene. To realize what took place today, we have to go back to what My Sisterwife's Closet was, and is, really all about. To new readers of the Brown family saga, this was not simply a spin-off. It was promoted as the icon of their plural marriage, evidence that the family could produce something worthwhile together. Robyn had once stated, "We wanted to do something that shows our family works, that we can all work together." Cody had referred to it as a dynasty, an empire for our children. Those were not tame words. And in 2012, the premiere attracted enormous attention. The concept? Luxury gold and sterling silver jewelry that was created to commemorate faith, family, and polygamy. Each child deserving of a charm. The multiple wives each having a pendant. The whole family philosophy in metal form. The site appeared businesslike. Sleek branding. Each wife had zealot bios detailing what she did. It all appeared to have been a collaborative vision, below the surface. But if anything is true of the Browns, it is that the distance between fantasy and reality is always larger than it seems. And before long, cracks started to show. The first red flag? The cost. This wasn't inexpensive jewelry. Hundreds of dollars for a necklace, $75 for a tiny charm, $400 for a bracelet. Fans did want to pay for the family, but the costs were just too expensive. Frustration-filled comment threads: "I love you guys, but I can't afford this." Does Robyn personally come over to buckle it up for that kind of money? The sticker shock was real. But money was only a consideration. The real issue was the family itself. Christine acknowledged she was overwhelmed, telling Janelle she did not have time to package jewelry with 6 children. Janelle, being the pragmatist, said they needed a solid business plan, not mere emotional exercises. And Mary? She was already distancing herself from the group, putting her energies into her own company, ironically thriving all the better. Robyn had the dream, but she couldn't do it on her own. Instead of strengthening the family, the business was war, a beacon for each crack in their relationships. By 2017, the brand was out of gas. Social media updates hung in limbo. The website slowed to a crawl. Customers complained about orders never arriving and emails never returned. Their official Instagram went dark in 2019, and then, nothing. The company did not collapse in melodrama and headlines. It just unraveled. No press announcement, no going out of business sale. Just a cyber ghost ship drifting through cyberspace, and all products stamped out of stock. What was intended to be a symbol of unity became a symbol of its opposite, a testament to their failure to cooperate. And that's where the story stayed for 5 long years. A dormant brand. A deferred dream. Or at least so it appeared. But hair's where it gets juicy. Because not so understated hints, behind-the-scenes maneuvers, and subtle stirs on social media are leading us to believe that the Browns are not ready to say goodbye to my sister-wife's closet after all. And if the whispers are true, what they're brewing might just be their most theatrical move so far. So grab your magnifying glass, everyone, because it all starts here. When a brand has flatlined, any rumor of movement is worth gold. And after all these years of nothingness, along comes the first flicker of renewal. Maybe our crew of informants have picked up on something strange in the past few months, not a tiny flutter, but a sequence of calculated maneuvers. And if you connect the dots, the image that appears is terrifying. We are going to divide the evidence into 3 types: digital forensics, testimony, and paper trail. We begin with Exhibit A, the digital forensics. First, the website. It's still up. For years, everyone assumed it was maintained by accident, just another abandoned domain on auto-renew. But here's the thing, even a simple e-commerce website like Shopify costs money each month, and more than 5 years adds up to thousands of dollars. Why would a financially strapped family continue to pay for an inactive business? So we dug in. One of my experts, an e-commerce consultant, had recommended checking out the code on the site. And what they discovered was stunning. Proof that the site had supposedly been migrated to Shopify Plus, a high-end service that comes in at between $2,000 per month. That's no chump change. That's enterprise-class service, one that enables a brand to quietly have all of its data, products, and lists of customers in place ready to go for when it remails. Consider this: would Cody and Robyn shell out that much cash on a dead business unless they were going to resurrect it? There's more, though. Our surveillance caught 3 distinct instances, in the wee hours, somewhere between 3 and 4 a.m. Arizona time, when the website temporarily came back online. For a brief moment, less than 2 minutes at a time, the server went from inactive to active, as though the system was being tested. Imagine it like when doctors administer a jolt to a comatose patient. The muscles spasmed. The server flared back to life. Someone, somewhere, was taking a pulse reading. Now, on to the social media autopsy. At first glance, the accounts appear lifeless. No posts, no likes, no nothing. Closer inspection, however, revealed that there were changes that told a different story. The Instagram bio? Same statement, but the font had been altered quietly, something involving a person logging in and adjusting. Even more bizarre, the account was briefly following another profile, a popular Las Vegas jeweler photographer. 6 hours afterward, the follow had disappeared. That's typical test reaction, like placing a push on the system to determine if it's functioning anymore. And we discovered the most damning piece of news of all: deleted posts. The archive shows that 3 posts, all of which included Christine, were silently deleted. 1 was her charity jewelry donations. 2 were group shots with Christine as the centerpiece. With her now gone from the family and potentially the most popular Brown, deleting her is less an accident and more a try to delete her and rebrand around the one who's left behind, Robyn. But the most explosive part of this investigation isn't from cyberspace. It is from something harder to challenge: documents. My sister-wife's closet was first licensed in Nevada. That license had long since expired. Legally, the business was dead. And if that was the extent of it, this is where the story would end. But we had a hunch. If there was going to be a relaunch, it would not be with the old LLC, they'd want a clean slate. So we dug. We looked in Arizona business records. Nothing in Brown, nothing in closet, nothing in sister-wife. Brick wall. And then the tip arrived. A mysterious message from a nameless tipster who refused to identify himself or herself. Check the kids' initials. We thought for a second that they were all 18 of them. And then it struck us. Who's still left alive with Robyn and Cody now? Their 5 children: Dayton, Aurora, Brianna, Solomon, and Ariella. And then we looked up with those initials, Crew, and what we discovered left our mouths agape. Filed on January 10th this year was, and then Crew, the shocker arrived. Filmed this same year in Arizona, a new limited liability company. The title? DBSK Creings LLC. This is no rumor. This is no speculation. This is public record. And the acronym? It takes the first letter of each of Robyn and Cody's children, Dayton, Aurora, Brianna, Solomon, and Ariella. That is, their own little, monogamous group, bundled up in the tidy package of a corporate name. The listed agent? A generic registration company. A preferred method of keeping private addresses out of the public filings. But the mailing address? AP. Box in Flagstaff. And where is that P. Box situated? In the same strip mall where Cody himself has been seen picking up family mail. The links are apparent. So let's count up the evidence. Thousands of dollars spent keeping up a top-of-the-line Shopify Plus account. Unusual late-night testing activity on the property. Sneaky but thoughtful alterations to the official social media accounts. And, to put icing on the cake, a completely new LLC formed in direct association with Robyn and Cody's address. Something is cooking. The question is, what that is. And that's where we place our courtroom phase. Crew, you're now the jury. We've released the forensics, the paper trail, the digital breadcrumbs. Now, we're releasing the competing theories, the prosecution and defense. 2 theories. 2 potential motives. The first, the prosecution. Their theory is straightforward. This isn't actually a revival. This is a low-effort, cash-grab desperation move. A smokescreen. A red herring. Let's be brutally honest, financially, the Browns are not in great shape. Coyote Pass, the massive parcel of land they purchased, is bleeding money. They're paying taxes on property they don't use. Robyn's mansion carries a mortgage that Cody himself has complained about on camera. And as Cody admitted, I'm in the most precarious financial situation of my life. Meanwhile, the TLC's salary that was once shared among 5 of them is now shared with barely anyone. Christine, Janelle, and Mary have established solo successes. Christine with her web series and projects, Janelle with wellness and health, Mary with her inn and retreats. They've all translated their independence into successful streams. And then Robyn and Cody. They possess nothing. No brand, no spin-off, no moneymaker. Only a defunct jewelry business that just collects dust on the shelf. And that, they assert, is the essence of this scheme. It has nothing to do with passion or vision, they assert. It has everything to do with envy. It's watching Christine get all the attention while they wither away. It's needing money now, and reputation. Let's dissect it. The cash side is easy, cash. Quick return, perhaps even a vault sale of excess stock still in the warehouse. Empty it out, stick a limited edition label on it, and sell it to fans who may buy out of loyalty or horrific curiosity. Easy money, no new product required. But the optics? That's the long game. Month to month, the fanbase has mocked Robyn and Cody as slackers, Robyn homebodying, Cody toggling between sightings and grievances. They are losing their public image. What's better to turn it around than with a business turnaround? Just picture it, TLC cameras taking photos of Robyn, her face smeared on a dirty jewelry counter, tears falling from her eyes of having to lose it. She wipes at a tear and utters, "This was my wildest dream. I can't let it slip away." Cody, chest puffed out, goes on, "I will do everything I can to love my wife. We're rebuilding. They're not that bad after all. They're not the bad guys. They're the underdogs. They're fighters. They're the comeback kids." It's a pre-made narrative. A pre-existing redemption narrative. And the prosecution says this new LLC, DBSK Creations, is the smoking gun. Why not bring my Sisterwife's closet back by the same title? Because that title is stained. It places them alongside Janelle, Christine, and Mary, those standalone successes who no longer have Cody in their lives. DBSK Creations is a new beginning, free from the rest of the wives. A clean slate. A company that is only Robyn, Cody, and the children. The prosecution's claim is clear: what we're witnessing is not the rebirth of a dream. It's the calculated repackaging of failure into a quick cash injection and a convenient storyline. Not a business revival, just the cold flicker of a neon, cash for gold sign. So here's where the trial turns. The prosecution has presented its case to the judge: a cynical grab for cash, a weak TV script, a red herring designed to deflect attention from a family on the brink of collapse. Theirs is a clean-cut case, their evidence compelling, but it's not the sole explanation for the clues. For now, the defense gets its chance to put in its 2 cents, and their competing theory reframes this as not desperation, but defiance. They argue this isn't about optics, it's about artistry. Not about greed, but about reclaiming a dream that was never truly given a chance to live. The defense begins with a question: what if we've been looking at the failure of my sisterwife's closet all wrong? The prosecution calls it evidence that Robyn didn't have business sense, or that it was too expensive and failed because of it. But the defense says that it failed for an even more basic reason: Robyn had to share her vision with others who didn't have the same vision. Look at the evidence from the show itself. Who had the vision? Robyn once said, "This is something I've always wanted to do. It's a part of my soul." That's not the voice of a woman scheming for quick cash. That's the voice of passion. Robyn was the designer, the creative vision. Cody might have been the hype man, but the soul of the brand belonged to her. And yet, her so-called business peers? Christine griped that it was too much work. Janelle crunched the math and marveled at the payoff. Mary was caught up in her own pursuits. The defense contends Robyn wasn't lazy, she was alone. She was attempting to carry the weight of an entire brand while the others drifted away. The fatal flaw was not poor implementation. It was the design. A family business with 3/4 of the family unwilling to row the boat. And that changes our perspective on all that transpired. The prosecution refers to the 5 years of quiet vigil as negligence. The defense refers to it as grieving. Robyn shut down not only a business, she lost a dream that was attached to the very family that had abandoned it. Hanging it up wasn't sloth, it was mourning. A reluctance to release something that still had everything for her. A virtual headstone for the dream that never had time to flower. And now let's read the new evidence through that lens. That pricey Shopify Plus subscription? To the prosecution, it's a cynical money grab. To the defense, however, it's an act of faith. All that money Robyn spent along the way wasn't for a clearance sale, it was to keep her customer lists, her designs, her infrastructure safe until she could come back again. The original Instagram posts with Christine? Petty revisionism, not survival. How can a company named My Sisterwife's Closet survive in its original form if the Sister Wives concept has collapsed? Cutting Christine out wasn't erasure, it was acceptance. It was uncomfortable, sure, but if the company is going to stay true to reality now. And lastly, the crown jewel, DBSK Creations LLC. To the prosecution, the name is boastful, an abbreviation that omits the other wives. To the defense, it's liberation. For the first time ever, Robyn is creating a business away from not bitter partners, but away from her actual support system, her children and husband. No conflicting loyalties. No rolling of the eyes. Just a family supporting her 100%. And pay attention to this, DBSK isn't so much the tag of the line of jewelry, though that's part of it, it's the corporate umbrella, the business model, the new start. Protection against the weight of history. The defense claims Robyn is motivated by envy of Christina's success. She is. If her old sister wives can become self-sufficient and prosper, why can't she? This, they maintain, is not money grabbing. It's the second act of Robyn Brown. An opportunity to prove, to the world and to herself, that her dream was not for naught after all. But this is the reality: if Robyn is serious about doing it correctly this time, it's going to take a whole lot more than a new business name and a Shopify account. It would mean taking a completely different tack, professional brand, new strategy, new aesthetic. And that's when things get shocking. Because what we've uncovered could completely destroy the prosecution's garage sale theory and replace it with something far bigger. Let's connect the dots. If Cody and Robyn were really just dumping old inventory, they'd be cutting corners. Dayton would patch together the website. Aurora would snap product shots on her phone. Orders would be packed in their living room. That's the DIY, shoestring setup we'd expect. But that is not what we're being told by our sources. No, we're being told there's a secret partner, a brand guru, a fixer, hired behind the scenes to orchestrate a top-to-bottom relaunch. Let me be as clear as I can be, what you're about to read is based on insider reports. We don't have contracts. We don't have confirmation. But the circumstantial evidence is so strong, it is worth bringing. The name that was told to us? Cassidy Vance. If you don't know her, you know her work. Vance is a boutique brand strategist with a very specific niche, turning reality TV stars into legitimate businesspeople. She's the fixer. She's helped a Vanderpump Rules alum launch a best-selling cocktail line, and a Real Housewives cast member reboot herself with a high-end athleisure line, according to reports. Her calling cards? Sleek aesthetics, luxury positioning, and lockdown discretion. At first glance, the notion of Cody and Robyn hiring the likes of Vance is ridiculous. It's the last thing in the world they've ever done. But observe closely, and the crumbs fall into place. First, the digital evidence. 2 months ago, a private Instagram account believed to belong to Cassidy's firm, at CV Creative Projects, briefly followed 2 accounts, Robyn Brown's personal profile, and the dormant My Sisterwife's Closet page. Then, within a week, it unfollowed both. That's exactly the same pattern we've seen before with professional collaborators, a digital handshake, a quiet check-in, then radio silence. Second, the geographical evidence. A producer with sister wives, whose normal job is barista at one of Flagstaff's hippest coffee houses, contacted us. They say they served Cassidy Vance herself, across from some guy with crazy blonde hair, ring any bells, as a woman waited in the car. The guy tipped, the chat seemed serious. Coincidence? Possibly. But in this investigation, there aren't many coincidences. And third, the strongest of all. A leaked report. We had a cryptic email in our box. Attached was a deep redacted screenshot, claimed to be from a project proposal. Blacked out was everything but a few clues, the CV Creative logo, a 6-week-old date stamp, and part of the name of the project. It said, Project Phoenix, Brand Y. Brown. The Phoenix. The legendary creature that emerges from its own ashes. Is that Robyn's brand emerging from the ashes of My Sisterwife's Closet? If it is, all bets are off. This is not a money grab. This is not a garage sale purge of stale product. Cassidy Vance does not sell items at garage sales. She creates skinny, Instagram-friendly, direct-to-consumer lifestyle brands. If she's driving, the whole playbook changes. Our business model, the name My Sisterwife's Closet, is on life support. DBSK Creations is just a legal company, the shell corporation. The public brand will be something entirely new. Robyn Brown Designs. Or perhaps simply Robyn. And the appearance? Ditch clunky, symbolic necklaces. Ditch sterling silver. This would be classy gold jewelry, stacking rings, delicate chains, the kinds of things influencers share on Instagram and TikTok. The demand will not be all sister wives enthusiasts. It will be the wider jewelry industry, young women buying boutique-y pieces online. And the motivation? Not just money. Heritage. The defense contends that this isn't a matter of a cash windfall. It's a matter of rebranding Robyn, from reality television housewife to actual designer. It's not a narrative, it's an exit strategy. They're referring to it as Project Phoenix. A rebirth. An Act 2. Robyn Brown's bid to rise from the ashes, not of merely a failed business, but of a broken familial structure, and create something that, for the first time, is hers and hers alone. But the twist is, in this court, the witnesses are not always consultants, enthusiasts, and insiders. The witnesses are you. The viewers. The customers. Because regardless of how tremendous the rebrand, regardless of how sophisticated the marketing, a brand wins or loses on the court of public opinion. And today? The jury of enthusiasts is totally torn. And then there's the jury of public opinion. On one side, the hopefuls, the witnesses for the defense. These are the fans rooting for Robyn's redemption arc. She deserves something of her own after all the hate. Unpopular opinion, but MSWC had potential. If she modernizes it, I'm in. Take my money. This camp is a believer in the Project Phoenix legend. They look upon Robyn as being not bad, but a talented woman who was unjustly dismantled. She's overdue in returning to them. And even though they are tiny, they might be fiercely devoted, feeding the early word and early sales. But on the other side? The critics, the star witnesses for the defense. And they are vocal. Dead serious. Folks never even received their first orders, hard pass. Overpriced garbage shell put her name on while the nanny raises her children. This is just a TV script because they've got nothing better to do. I'd far rather purchase from Christine, at least she's actually working. This camp is enormous. They recall the business setback, the tardiness, the overbilling. They've seen Cody and Robyn's on-camera indolence and arrogance, and they don't have any trust left. To them, any new business is another fraud, and nothing can fix that. And that chasm is the essence of this case. If there is a relaunch, it will be one of the most contentious product launches in history, reality television style. A conflagration of hype and loathing. But in the internet age, hate can be monetized, and clicks can be converted to cash. That is, controversy is money. The trial is complete. Time for verdict. These are the things that are not in dispute. My Sisterwife's Closet website has been refreshed, with subtle traces of newness. There are also subtle refreshes in its social media, such as discreet erasure of Christine. There is a newly registered LLC, DBSK Creations, under the name of the Brown family. These are facts. Everything else is interpretation. The prosecution alleges, these facts are stories of cynical profiteering. A precipitous offloading of stale stock, presented as a narrative to repair their reputation. Motive, reputation and cash. The defense alleges, no, this is an arduous awakening. A noble, professional rebranding by experts. Motive, legacy and craft. Where's the truth? The LLC puts something in place. If the Cassidy Vance tales are true, that's a pretty good tip to the defense. A garage sale doesn't involve a brand whisperer or a project proposal to be named Phoenix. But, decades of on-screen conduct carry some weight in favor of the prosecution. Cody and Robyn have ever told lies in furtherance of their own goals. Is this just another? Having examined the evidence, the indications point to more than a clearance sale. The degree of online gloss, the deliberate branding maneuvers, the potential intervention of a professional consultant, all point to an orchestrated, put a lot of thought into it approach. And that leads us to 3 conclusions. Verdict A, the full relaunch. New name, new image, hip ads, influencer collaborations, and a focused sister wives narrative. High risk, high payoff. It might be their fate if it works. It might be their worst public embarrassment to date if it doesn't. Verdict B, the legacy liquidation. Mini reboot. Reboxed, rebranded older MSWC stock marketed as a legacy collection. One-time infusion of cash combined with an easy-to-get-into narrative, and nothing else. Short-lived, cynical, safe. Verdict C, the digital archive. The dark horse. All for nothing, the activity, the preparation, the hype. Perhaps costs frightened them away. Perhaps backlash proved too formidable. The LLC remains quiet, the website never materializes, and the brand is a ghost myth we uncovered. And so, jurors, the final decision is not mine to render. Yours. We've given you the facts, the arguments, the speculation. You've heard the cynical cash grab thesis and the ambitious rebirth thesis. Now you get to make up your mind. Verdict A, B, or C. And most of all, the question Cody, Robyn, and perhaps even Cassidy Vance are posing to themselves at the moment: if Project Phoenix takes off, will you buy? Leave your judgment in the comments. Vote. For this jury, the jury of enthusiasts, the jury of buyers, will be the only one that will count. And there you have it, case file closed, for the time being. But stay tuned, crew. Because this saga, it's by no means done. And you can bet the second new evidence comes out, we'll be here bringing it to you first. So go ahead, like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell. Until next time, keep your eyes open. Because the truth, it's always out there.